Hi, my name is Franciria Moore with the Prosperity Agenda, and welcome to Coaching Up Close, our mini webinar series designed to work some quick tips into your busy schedule to help you improve your coaching skills. But first, let me introduce you to TPA. We are working to end persistent poverty, changing the way that we think about, build programs for, and coach families under financial stress. Coaching is, of course, a big part of our DNA, and we work with organizations all over the country on their coaching programs. Before we jump in, if you're joining us live, we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, so save your questions. And as a note, through the month of January, the Coaching Up Close webinar series will focus on the 5 principles of trauma-informed care. This series will focus on providing you with an understanding of how to recognize the impact of trauma on families and also give you tools that could support you in working with healing families and communities. Please visit our website at www.theprosperityagenda.org to register for these and upcoming webinars. Now, let's get started. Today's session is about committing to safety in trauma-informed care. Before I get started, I always like to define things for us. So trauma-informed care is defined as a strengths-based framework that is grounded in an understanding of and responsiveness to the impact of trauma. This emphasizes physical, psychological, and emotional safety for both providers and survivors that creates opportunities for survivors to rebuild a sense of control and empowerment. Trauma-informed care is important in the work that we do as coaches because it recognizes the impact that different traumas that people have experienced in our society and in the world in general has on our ability to think, act, and feel. It is important also to note that while there are varying types of trauma, that no trauma is greater than the other, and that what impacts one person in a mild way may have a devastating impact on another. So as providers, our role is to be sensitive to the experiences of each individual that we serve. One way to ensure this is one way to ensure that coaches serve families with dignity, respect, and choice is to be guided by the 5 principles of trauma-informed care, which are safety, choice, empowerment, collaboration, and trust. I'll say those one more time. Okay, the 5 principles of trauma-informed care are safety, choice, empowerment, collaboration, and trust. Today, we will focus on creating safe environments of calm and comfort. I think collectively, we are all thinking about how we can do our work while adjusting to the new normal. Whether in person or virtually, coaches who practice trauma-informed care will work to provide privacy, respect, and comfort for those they're serving. So I have a few tips that I want to share with you to consider as you're thinking about how you might provide a calm and safe environment for participants and families that you're working with in your coaching program. So if you're working virtually, you may consider opening the session by letting participants know that despite being virtual, we've taken the necessary steps to protect their privacy. You might consider using headphones to protect the conversation, or finding a space in your home or in your home office that bolsters the feelings of calm and commitment to the session. If you're in person, you might consider reviewing how the session will be different in order to respect social distancing measures so that there is no misunderstanding about the space or the lack of close interaction. Okay. Most importantly, we must ask participants what they feel they need in order to feel safe and comfortable during these sessions, especially now in the time of COVID. What might be necessary? What ways should we be interacting with you so that you feel comfortable and so that you feel safe mentally, emotionally, and physically? Okay. Also recognize that nonverbal clues and cues are present during conversations. So if you notice that someone who normally in your in-person meetings is very open and interested in the conversation, and you've noticed that there has been a shift since you've been virtual, or if you've noticed that there has been a shift since everything has happened with COVID, it may be important to stop and have a check-in there, because maybe there has been a trauma that has existed or a trauma that has happened in this entire process that has shifted the way that they need you to interact with them. It's also important that we're mindful about trauma-informed care, not just for the participant, but for ourselves as providers, recognizing that we also are experiencing and are a part of this collective trauma that we're experiencing as a nation. It is important that you are aware of the things that you need mentally, physically, and emotionally so that you can be as present as possible during your coaching sessions. Recognizing those nonverbal cues and making the adjustments as they're necessary is so key in having a genuine, open relationship. It is important to have these conversations about what is necessary in order to really bolster safety for everyone involved in the coaching session. Trauma-informed care is less about understanding the exact story of the traumatic event or the traumatic experience that happened in the family's life, and more about approaching everyone with, again, dignity, respect, and choice, and focusing on creating environments that are open to everyone despite their experiences, not making assumptions that everyone is starting off on the same playing field or starting off at an even point. We need to identify what might be necessary in order to really push the relationship forward from family to family. Okay. In many of my experiences as a coach, as a Southerner, I tend to come in very bubbly and, I'm ready to go, and I'm leaning in for the hugs, and I'm, just a lot. I'm a lot of energy. I'm sure a lot of you have picked up on that. I learned that when I moved to the Northeast, that does not necessarily fit here. And I needed to put my pride aside. I needed to put my expectations to the side as a Southerner, that culture to the side just a bit, to make an adjustment so that my new families and the participants that I was working with in the Northeast could have an opportunity to feel comfortable enough and move toward a relationship that was a little more warm. Okay. I learned very quickly that could be off-putting for people in this region who are not necessarily used to that type of interaction. And so in providing a safe environment for everyone that I coached or worked with in this type of relationship, I had to be willing to lay down my preferences and my way of working in preference to or deference to what they needed in order to feel safe. Not everyone felt safe with me. Hi, welcome. My name is Fran, doing that whole thing. It was a lot for some of the participants. And it did take me a while, but I eventually made that adjustment so that we could start at a point that felt comfortable to that family and then move them along on the process to coaching. Some of those families, we eventually got to the point where we were hugging and high-fiving one another. And some of my families, we never got to that point, but we know that we reached their goals and that there was a genuine trust and relationship that was built. That could only happen if, as a coach, we are willing to lay aside what our preferences are in order to prefer what the family needs in order to grow the relationship. In closing, it is imperative that we provide trauma-informed care not only for the families we serve, but also to keep ourselves safe during our work. The priority is always to provide safety mentally, physically, and emotionally for everyone, including yourself as a coach. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Join us next month for more coaching tips and resources, and be sure to stick around for the question and answer portion. And of course, if you have any questions about our training program, or if you would like to sign up for the next Coaching Up Close mini webinar, please visit us at theprosperityagenda.org. And don't forget to check out our LinkedIn page, where we have plenty of resources and links and all kinds of cool information there for you to check out. I'll soon be dropping a link in the chat box to a resource to our online toolkit. You can find that at familycenteredcoaching.org. That's familycenteredcoaching.org. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.